That's
Oh,
great.
that was great.
See,
Good after evening and welcome to the Ham Radio Kids Table. This is the place where we'll have the fun. We are not your grandfather's ham radio.
nope. Nope,
Not at
nope,
all.
nope, no grandpas. Hey guys, gals, welcome back to the Ham Radio Kids Table. We are goofing around today a little bit, but we are going to bring the seriousness here. We have got our friend Sebastian, KI2D. Is that correct, Sebastian? KI2D.
Hold on,
Yep.
I lost.
Oh, oh,
Can't hear.
It is
Can
KI2D.
you hear me?
Yes.
okay.
We
Yes.
can hear you.
Yep.
Yep.
Can you hear us?
He's going to hear us.
Not
Okay.
a live stream without one technical issue, right?
Hey, right. You're absolutely right. That's the joy of amateur radio, right? You're always going to have something go wrong, and you just get ready for it. But hey, Sebastian, try the little gear icon down at the bottom of the screen there. You might be able to change your settings. But hey, so while Sebastian's getting that worked out, well, he's back. Let's see here. Sebastian, how
Can
you
you hear us
doing?
now?
No. So there's a little gear icon settings. Go in there and make sure you've got the right speaker set. Like, you know what? He probably can't hear me say that.
He probably
Yes,
hear
can.
you now.
God.
There we go. As I was saying, you know what? It's just not a ham radio thing without one, well, at least one problem going haywire. Right?
That's how it goes.
That is how it goes. So
If you know what you're doing it wrong.
fair enough. At least in this, right? We're amateurs, and we're here to have fun and learn and well, do some crazy stuff along the way. So we have Sebastian here, KI2D, and Sebastian is a modern day computer programmer, and he is also the developer of PoLo, everybody's new favorite logging app, and Ham 2K apps. But you actually do a couple other things. Is that correct?
I mean Ham2K is kind of like the umbrella, the company. It's not really a company, but like the team, the group, the project, whatever.
Mm.
PoLo is a portable logger. I've done a lot of other things in terms of software for ham radio. Before I started with Ham2K, I've been part of a team on Grid Tracker. I started a few years ago when I got into ham radio in 2020. Grid Tracker was one of the first apps I discovered, and I really liked it. And when I joined, I started bothering Tag with suggestions and ideas, and he ended up open sourcing the app. He'd always meant to open source it, but he wanted to get it further along first. And I haven't done much for Grid Tracker this last few months. I've been focusing more on PoLo.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm also into like DXing, and I'm part of a team behind the CQDX marathon, which is kind of like a year-long contest. And I built software for that to prepare your submissions for that. But PoLo is the hardcore of what I'm working on these days. It's like it takes all of my spare time.
You got all the spare times, huh?
Oh yes,
Yes.
the extensive spare time. I mean, it helps that my kids are off to college. They don't live with us anymore. That freed up a lot of time.
Yeah.
To be honest, I miss them dearly, but man, kids take a lot of time.
They do.
Yeah,
Sometimes more than radio.
And money, I hear. Is there any truth to the rumor that it costs $1 million to raise a kid until they've leave the house?
That's about right. I would not dispute that number. I don't want to do the math.
Okay, got
to
it.
dispute the number or not. Yeah,
Got it.
Yeah. The we don't math on stream, right?
No, math is hard.
yeah.
Especially not that math.
No. Anytime you add a bunch of zeros to it, I just want to get away from it. So, well, so tell us a little bit about your background. How long have you been coding?
So the long story is I'm originally from Venezuela. I moved to the US in 2001.
Okay.
Doing software development since I was a kid. Like that.
Mhm.
That's been. I'm one of a typical guy who's like at 12 was coding and haven't stopped. I've been doing startups and like small companies since forever.
Mhm.
I've done real estate, agriculture, online education, taxes. I've done all kinds of software. And in 2020, with the pandemic, like the first week of the pandemic, I felt a little bit isolated here in our in we live. I mean, we had a country home about 2 hours north of New York City, and we basically moved there during the
Mhm.
pandemic, and it was a bit isolated. And the first thing I thought, well, let me get a scanner so I can hear what the local emergency services are saying. I got the scanner. On the scanner I started hearing this like repeater, and it kind of connected with memories when I was younger of doing CB radio, and my grandfather was a ham. I'm like, oh, amateur radio, yeah, there's that thing. And I started looking into it, and I don't know, 2 weeks later, it was by mid-April, I was testing for my license. It was one of the first online tests at the time.
Mhm.
And like I got my general. There was I asked a friend that I knew who was a ham like about it. And he said, study a little bit and try to get your general. Don't go for the tech only. That was one of the best pieces of advice I could have gotten.
Yep. I agree. I
100%.
hear that a lot. People get they take their tech and they want to
Yeah.
put some time between the tech and the general. And
It's
the reality is the general is just like a step harder than the
yeah.
tech.
It's
And
only
it's
a tiny step harder. As a
Tiny.
VE, we always ask the people that pass their technician exams, did you study it all for the general? If they say
And
no,
give it a try.
we say start studying. You're right in that study mode. The general has 30% of it comes from the technician exam or question pool. So
Mhm.
keep studying and get your general. So
Yeah,
that's
going for
we
the extra takes
professionals.
a lot more studying. But
Oh
the
yeah,
general
Yeah.
going the tech is not that hard, and tech to general is actually not that much harder.
correct.
But yeah, I got my tech. I got my general. I started first playing with VHF, even if I got the general. Trying to get into the local repeaters and playing with APRS, and the challenge of making it to the local APRS repeater and getting DGP'd and finally getting a message out. And like I don't know, 5-6 months later, I bought myself a little Ziego G90, and I started playing with HF. I started playing with FD8. One weekend, I hear a lot of people in the bands, and I discover what contests were, and I also got hooked into contesting. Got myself an FTDX10. Started, yeah, like I went down the rabbit hole very, very deep.
G90 to FTDX10, right?
To a Flex 6600.
There you go.
Yeah, the one day, if you over beers, I'll tell you the story of that 6600, but not in the stream. And kind of like all along, I started noticing, not noticing, I started getting irked by the state of amateur radio software. It's like it really felt as if we were like, don't get me started about the websites that look like they were built in 1995.
Well, they were on GeoCities.
Yeah.
Yes, no, it's the GeoCities vibes.
Yeah.
Geocities on a good day.
QR set pages remind me of MySpace. You know, it's like we're all friends of Tom.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm going to swap my picture out for Tom on QRZ.
You should. Yeah. And like, so, but like the first couple of years, I knew I did not understand enough about amateur radio to like be able to write good software. I needed to get a better sense of what was what. It's like I thought that ADIF was the bomb. That was the ultimate data standard, and that's what would store anything. Boy, was I wrong. I started, one of the first pieces of software I wrote. I mean, I started contributing to Grid Tracker. That gave me a lot of perspective into how things work and all of that. I built a client for NetRC, Net Control. It's like a net client app. I forget what. Hold on, I might even find it here. It was a client for NetLogger, which is like an app to sign up for online nets.
Yeah.
And it's kind of not working anymore. But that was the very first Ham2K product. I registered the domain when I built that tool. And I started writing a little bit of libraries to help me manage QSOs and process them and try to like parse call signs and all of that, and slowly build the toolkit I would need to write something more complex. Next came like a tool to do the DX Marathon submissions that would like read ADIF files and parse them and map the call signs to entities and parse databases and try to get them all right. And then about was a bit of a year ago, is like November or so of 2023, I kind of like was decided, you know what, I'm going to write my own logger, because I'm not happy with any of them. None of them solve the problems I want to solve. None of them work the way I want them to work. I have a bunch of ideas. I think it's time. And I started writing it. And by end of February of 2024, I had like an alpha version out that some people were testing.
So
by end of March, we had the public version. So it's been literally a year since the public version's been out.
So in that timeline, so you did this post Hammers. So a lot of people really loved Hammers, and that project kind of fell behind. And the World Radio League hadn't put their,
that was Hammers has come out. World Radio League did not exist.
Okay,
that was about it. Yes.
Okay.
And,
so
so go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, so yours was really filling the gap at the time that Jared was busy.
So there was in particular, it was a time when Jared was busy and not updated, when PoLo decided to change the park identifiers.
Right. Yep.
So for a while, Hammers was out of date with that database, and a lot of people were complaining about it. When I started writing PoLo, Hammers was a fine app that was being updated, and I thought it was a good app. It showed that you can do a decent logger on a small screen. It was one of those things that actually got me started saying, yeah, you can log on your phone. Sure. I think I can do better. I think I can do something that works better for me. And that's what got me started. But yeah, the when he like slowed down the updates in early 2024, just when PoLo changed the identifiers, is when PoLo was ready to go live. And it was all a coincidence. Like, I think it did help PoLo at first. I mean, that there were a lot of people looking for other alternatives to that would work and be updated and whatnot. I think that Jared did a good job of bringing Hammers Pro and rethink it. And I don't know the details of the story, but it's a common story in many software projects where you get tired of doing it, and like people complaining and spending all the time, and so it burnout is real.
Yep.
He was smart on the second version, not so much about charging for it or not, but like he built it in a way that would be easier to maintain. I think he wrote somewhere that he wanted to rewrite it to make it easier to maintain.
That's fair. When you have an open source product or a product that you are developing as a passion project, you've only got so much time to dedicate it. You still have to, unless you're independently wealthy, put food on the
I'm
table
not.
for you and your
Yeah,
family,
I'm
right?
not.
So, so I think sometimes we in the community overlook that. There are some paid apps out there. There's some free apps, and there's some apps that are free with like a maintenance type fee. But in general, across the board, in most of amateur radio apps, these were developed by people in the 80s and the 90s, in the early 2000s, and it just kind of stopped. And
Yeah.
the next generation of developers have not materialized, and it's Jarrett, it's the guys at the World Radio League. I
I'd
mean,
like to believe that there's more than that. There's a few projects that introduce a bunch of good ideas, like fast log entry, for example. FLE is an
Mhm.
app that is it opened the idea that you can be very efficient and smart about how you enter log data. There's VK Portalog out of
Mhm.
Australia that was like a soda and Australian products. It's kind of like the precursor to PoLo in terms of being able to do more than one thing at a time.
Okay.
It's just that they were apps that for one reason or another never made it out. They stayed in small communities that never really got popular outside of the like Australia, and fast log entry is more popular in Europe, but not
Mhm.
even popular. It's like some people know about it.
I will say, I think it's fair. I think it's fair to say in the community that if you've got a product that people like, they'll brag about it.
Oh yeah, that's
But
true.
No,
on the flip side, they'll complain about it too if it's
that
something
too. Yeah.
they don't like,
Yeah.
right? So I think that, but and I think this kind of goes to what I'm seeing with PoLo. And to to I hate using the words full disclosure. What's my title? Am I the unofficial official and brand ambassador? Is that what we decided that one time?
Yes.
Or
I
was
think
it, or is it the
we
official unofficial brand ambassador? Either way, I'm not being paid, but but I do use PoLo, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And one of the things I do like about it is that it's not isolated to just PODA. It's just about anything that you want to do. You've got
yes.
a framework to get started, as you and the development team are building frameworks to add into it. So you're constantly evolving and developing in this platform.
I mean, part of it is the advantage of having started PoLo in 2023 and having learned the lessons of all the other login apps out there. That it's like, I don't know if you've seen, but Ham Radio Deluxe HRD has been rewriting from scratch for the last, I don't know how many years, because like once you start an
Well,
application, it's hard to correct the mistakes you did when you first started. It's called technical debt. It's a pain you have to carry.
oh yeah,
Unless you
And
totally rewrite the software from scratch.
but the big rewrite never works. That's always like it's bound for failure, especially because the problem is that by the time you're done rewriting, the world moved on.
Yeah,
Um,
you need to keep up with the
it's
changes all around you with doing
yeah,
software. I know it takes a long time to code software, especially for like one or two people, but they have to be conscious of the changing world. Like Parks on the Air came around, and the mobile devices, and people started making apps for those devices, and
yeah.
people didn't have software that was compatible with Parks on the Air. So it takes time, but a lot of the software that was previously written was all in Windows. I mean, you didn't have anything
That
for
too.
mobile
Yeah,
devices or Macs. There's a
yeah.
few things for Macs, but it's nice to see that. Well, you haven't moved out to other platforms yet, although I don't know if you plan on doing that. I don't have a problem
I
with
do.
what it is now.
I do. The
But
app right now, the app runs. It's built on a framework called React Native that lets me run it on iOS and Android. And because of the way iOS apps are built, it also runs on new Macs.
Yep.
Any Macs that have the new Apple Silicon chips can run the app. I am starting a second version of the app, if you wish, that's going to run on Windows, Linux, and Macs. Kind of like PoLo desktop versus PoLo mobile or something like that is going to be the difference. The desktop version might end up having some different features, especially more complex UIs, and because you have more room. And I might focus the mobile versions to just fast logging and whatever you want to do on the go.
yeah, that makes more sense.
So some are, I mean, pretty much staying the way it is now, or would you thin that down some?
I don't think thinning it down. I mean, I'm very much not someone who will be comfortable with leaving things the way they are.
Mhm.
I mean, I think that one of the reasons I think PoLo has been so successful is because I don't stop at, yes, it did what it needed to do, it's done.
Okay.
Part of it is because I dog food the app. I don't know if you've heard that term. It's commonly used in the software industry, which means you eat your own dog food. And it means I use the app. I go activate all the time. And when I do, I get annoyed at my own app. There are things that I find that shouldn't be like that. That could be a little bit better. That could be a little bit nicer. I'm picky. I hate when, like, I don't know, when I pull names from QRZ and they're all in all caps. Or I hate when the like, so every time I see something like that, it's I think I can do a little bit better.
Yeah, that's a good idea that you use your own application all the time, so you can scrutinize or find new things that you might want to change, like you added the standby user, I think it was, or I'm not sure what you called
The
it,
call
but
stacking. Yes.
call stacking. Yes, I
Yeah.
tried it once and it didn't work for me, but that was my brain. The way I heard the call signs and the way I entered them on the
Mhm.
into the app, it didn't work for me. I have to play around with that some more. But you don't have to listen to other people. You can see what your app is doing and what you've done so far. You can say, well, I need to improve that. I think I should do that. Oh, look at that call sign come up. I don't like the way or the information comes up
There's
with that call sign. That's a great idea that you're doing that.
and it's like it's two things. Is I'm annoyed at things in the app that I always want to fix. Every time I do something, I think, can I do this a little bit better? Is there
Mhm.
something I can improve here to make it smoother, faster? Can I start an operation with fewer clicks? Because computers are smart at figuring data. It's like
Yeah.
you know my location. Why do I need to enter the park number? You know I'm in the US. Why do I need to enter a US dash in front of a park number?
Yep.
It's like all of those things can easily be automated. I'm not talking about AI, just dumb automation. It's
Yep.
just figure it out and doing it.
Yep.
But also, like you said, the other big difference is that I like to believe I hear the users when they come and complain. Every time somebody makes a mistake, I know the answer is you're holding it wrong. But how can I make it so that it's not that easy to hold it wrong? How can I make it so that this mistake is not easy for you to make again? How can I make it so that the app is better at communicating that you were in the wrong frequency when you enter that data? So I like to take people's complaints as a source of, okay, how can I make it so that you don't need to complain about it again? Because the complaint is a problem. It means that you ran into something that didn't work the way you expected. And I could say, well, that's not how it's supposed to work. But I can also say, okay, but let me see if I can make it so that it works better when you look at it that way. But
That's fair.
Go. Sorry.
Well, and that's fair, and that goes back to that you're eating your own dog food, right?
Yeah.
Or you're eating what you're producing, and And I like that. What you got,
So-
Vince?
I got a question.
Oh,
This,
go ahead.
here's the dumbass question of the night, number one. What
Number one.
is call stacking?
So call stacking is you are calling CQ on a park, and you hear Victor Echo 6 Lima Kilo, and at the end of Lima Kilo you hear a Romeo Zulu.
Okay.
But I did hear your call sign. I'm confident that I heard your call sign, so that's what I enter in PoLo. V6 Lima Kilo. I type / Romeo Zulu.
Okay.
So on screen, all the two call signs are on the line where you enter the log. When you press enter, only the complete call is logged, and then the
Okay.
Romeo Zulu stays on the field. So I can then say, okay, the Romeo Zulu, go ahead now. So it's kind of like what you do when you have paper on a notepad and you enter the partial calls you hear.
Yeah, it's a really neat feature. I've saw it.
I just tried it.
James. Yes,
demo.
yes,
You
yeah,
hear
okay,
that
you got it.
partial call and
I
you write
just-
it in your notebook.
I just tried it, and it was
Hold on.
better. Oh wow, that's
Give me a
very
second because
cool.
I lost my phone. Decided I wanted to ask something of it, and I think it disconnected the Bluetooth.
We still hear you.
And
You
now
are-
I need to figure out why I'm not hearing you guys again.
You might have
Jesus,
to-
we amateur radios are terrible at this.
Yeah. Here I am telling him how
Oh.
to fix the audio issue, right?
And he can't hear
So,
us. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No,
But
nothing.
yeah, so think of
Oh, that's
easy
way too.
enter.
Man,
That's way too cool. I mean, I just tried it on my laptop.
Oh,
I
it's
hear
a
you
neat
with the
feature.
laptop
Way
speakers
too
now.
cool.
So James is a good use case of that, right? That guy is a machine, and he'll
Sure.
call QRZ, and he might hear 5 different call signs in there, and he'll just start typing bits and pieces, and then he can just go back through and work them. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
He's
Right, and-
insane.
Yes.
No,
Well-
he's I it's not even it's crazy how he does it.
But I mean, I think that's a feature that that's how James does it. But this is also good for people who are working a lot of pileups, whether it's a contest or
Yeah.
something
Or they
like
have
that.
a bad memory, or for anyone really. It's great because I'll be in a pileup and I'll hear like 3 different people. I'll hear bits and pieces, and then I'll say, like Lima Kilo Station. Give me a minute, and when I come back to them, I forget the call sign or even what I said. Is it Kilo Lima Station? Or if I'll just completely forget. So doing that, I need to learn to practice doing that, to using that feature, because I think it's a great addition to the application.
You know, I find myself using it like one every 10 QSOs or so at least. When I'm one of those days where the bands are helping and the QSOs move fast. And it's good because then you can come back to the person you heard the partial call sign instead of having to call QRZ and getting another pile up and trying to figure out who you can hear.
Guessing or getting it completely wrong, but
Yeah.
it happens. So
I'll hear people, and I do that. I'll hear a couple calls, and usually by the time I finish that first call, I have forgotten the other one and the other two, and I'll just call QRZ again. But I guess in a way, I'm all about efficiency. And the more efficient, the faster I can run through those things, the more people, I can make contact with, and that's how I like how to do, to run a POTA. And so I'm gonna start using that too. Although I am finding, depending on what I'm using, whether it's my phone or my tablet, I find my laptop is the best way to roll with that. Frank, you're hearing your ground again.
Yeah. That's why I was apparently muted. Okay.
Well, I didn't mute you.
No, it's something to do. We'll talk about that later.
Nightbot probably did it.
That'll be the next topic of discussion tonight.
That'll be hour 2.
Nightbot smacked you around.
It hit that magic button on my key on my mixer. Anyway, Vince,
There
you're
you go.
absolutely loving that feature now that Sebastian told you about.
Damn straight.
And one
Like
pro
a
tip,
kid
if
in a
you
candy store.
if is that it, you can use the period to enter slashes in PoLo. So if your keyboard on your phone, if you have an Android phone, it most likely has a period key next to the space. So you can use that to enter slashes. So when you type period on PoLo, will convert that to a slash. And if you're an iOS, the number bar that PoLo provides has a period at the end that also converts to slashes.
Really?
So that's a quick way to enter any partial call or like a portable call sign or something like that. You enter it with the period.
So if you were to put how would that work if somebody well, Vince has got a U.S. call, but if Vince was down here and he used his Canadian call and he put a stroke
Whiskey 7 or whatever.
on the
He can
back
type
of it.
so he can use because the slash is kind of like lost in the numbers in iOS, for example. It's not easy to type a slash on a phone keyboard.
Yeah. No, I'm asking.
So you enter
If you put the slash whiskey 7 behind his call sign, would it see that as a second call sign?
No. The call stacking is with 2 slashes.
Oh, 2 slash. Okay, fair enough.
Yes. And that was literally during Hamcation and I went out with James and Dan on an operation. And while we were doing that and seeing how James can remember those things, that was like, I need to be able to do call stacking. How can I do call stacking? I started thinking about it. The next day at Hamvention at the PODA tent, I was sitting there, and it's like I realized, I can do 2 slashes. That's it. That's all I need. The slash is there. It's convenient. It's not ambiguous.
Mhm.
Like 1 slash is for portable, but 2 slashes, that's a call stack. And I finished implementing it at the airport on my way back to New York.
Problem solved, right?
The first version. And then I realized it was full of problems I need to fix and clean up and all that. But the first pass at it was at the airport coming back from Hamcation.
Yeah, so one of the other ham tubers, Sebastian, was sitting there on a stream one night and said, "Yeah, he was so busy, he was working there at the PODA tent editing code."
Yeah, I do. It happens.
I was just playing around with the call stacking feature on my phone. I normally don't use my phone, use my iPad, but taking the time to actually put in like a full call sign, then the call stack, and then a partial call sign, then another call stack, that's just slick.
You can enter as many as you
Really
want.
Yep.
When you hit submit, it will pick the first full call from the right back to the start.
I
So
gotta
if
use
you're-
this more often. It's just so awesome.
So
Could you
Sebastian,
stack
Did you just say you can enter in as many as you want
Yes.
to stack? Oh, I
It's
got
like
it
running
wrong
a-
earlier. I was typing in the chat. There's a limit of 4, so there isn't a limit of 4. Okay, that's even cooler.
I don't
You can
think
run
there's
a list that
there's a
way.
limit of how many you can fit and still see. Once you grow beyond the text field, depending on how big your screen is, it becomes harder to edit them and move around. But it's another pro tip. Both Android and iOS keyboards, if you hold your finger on the space bar and then move it right and left, it can move the cursor back. If you want to edit one of the calls you put in the stack, you hold and move back. It's harder to like try to tap the call sign at the right position.
Yeah.
It's easier just to like hold on the space and move sideways.
So
Yeah.
Sebastian, Dougbo in the chat, Left Coast Ham Radio, has a good question. He's still logging on paper, but will be transitioning to PoLo. Can you add the summit reference for summit to summit when operating SOTA? I already know the answer, but I'll let you take it.
So I just have to try it. PoLo is I did not know what VK Portalog, this app I mentioned earlier, that offered that earlier. But PoLo is definitely the first the first app to offer not just PODA and SOTA together or a couple of activities together. It's literally you can do PODA and SOTA and wildlife, flora and fauna, and the New York QSO party all in one log. And
Or
the
when
idea
they're
is that
field day.
I want PoLo to and field day. You can do
Yeah.
all of those things together in one operation in PoLo, and PoLo will let you enter all the information you need for each one of those, which means you can enter your park-to-park reference for PODA separate from the one for flora and fauna, separate from the one for soda. It will offer you spotting information for PODA and soda and flora and fauna at the same time. It will let you self-spot in all of those programs. I want PoLo to do, one of my goals when I started is I wanted to be able to do Parks on the Air and New York QSO party at the same time in one log. And I wanted to do the next goal was, and this one has not been done yet, but I want to be able to do one of these weekends that has like 3 QSO parties at the same time for 3 different states. And I want to be able to be in state in one of those parties and out of state in the other 2 and have PoLo log it in one log.
Nice.
Sebastian, I do believe you're actually in luck. This coming weekend is a 3-state QSO party.
Yeah, PoLo now supports QSO parties. You can do one at a time right now. It doesn't have yet the ability to do multiple. I did add on request of Mo in the community, in the PoLo community, that he brought it up, and if someone else had brought it up, I would have told him like, man, it's too late. But like last Friday, I think he brought up there's the Georgia State QSO Party contest this weekend, and I added support for that on PoLo, so you can see which of the Georgia state parks you've worked, and it adds highlights in the spots and calculate the score and all of that. That went out today in the updates that I pushed today. The next thing I want to do, and this is a bit more of a challenge, is I want to be able to do a rove, or I want to do an activity that lasts more than one activation. I want to do 5 parks in one log. So basically, I need to be able to tell PoLo, I'm done with the first park. I'm moving on, but I'm not done with the operation.
So
and update the park. Same thing for QSO parties when you change counties. That's another common rove scenario.
So you
Sebastian, it'll help you
to...
here. It'll help you here. Georgia State Parks on the Air, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Missouri QSO party, along with the Florida State Parks on the Air, are all this weekend.
Yeah, I did not do anything for Florida State Parks on the Air, but I have all the QSO parties and the Georgia State Parks on the Air are covered, have special features in PoLo to manage them. And going back to the original question, you can do any of those things while also doing summits on the air.
Doug, don't forget about castles on the air too.
And castles on the air and bunkers on the air.
That's right.
Yeah.
When are we going to put in
on the air for Australia?
When are we going to put Buc-ee's on the air?
I want to do breweries on the air. That's the
I think that would be that'd be an easy win. You could get that one.
Yeah.
Pretty quick. There's a speaking of breweries down in Huntsville. There's one that we went to last year when we were down there. It's they got food, and they got outdoor music and everything, and they got a big open field. And Rob, Digital Rancher, right in the middle of this thing, there's a satellite pass. Boom, elk antenna out, radio on his chest, and he's right there, right in the middle of not a crowd of people, but right out there in this activity field right next to the brewery doing a satellite pass. So I think technically he might have activated the brewery.
There you go.
There you go.
And if we do breweries on the air, it will, just like PODA, retroactive activations count. So save those logs.
Got to do that. So out of curiosity, if I were to do, because I've done a couple of those 10 park roves for the Warthog or whatever that award is. So I've created new logs for each park, but would I not be able to, when I finish the one, before I go to the next park, add a new entity in and pull the old entity out? Or is it because the way it tags it in the ADA file?
the way it's tagged, the way we manage the parks is like the right now it's more common for people to start a log and then realize they got the wrong park and want to modify it for the entire log than to start a log and say, this is my first park, and then I want to go to a different park, but keep it on the same log. So that's the big change I need to introduce. Like the all those settings, when you enter them in PoLo, they apply to your entire operation, to that entire log notebook, if you wish, or logbook. And that, so I need to be able to say, I'm going to make a break in the operation here and change the references or change the county for the QSO party, or now I'm not activating PODA, and then 15 QSOs later saying, now I'm activating PODA from a different park.
Okay.
But put all of that in the same log entry, in the same logbook, if you wish, and then at the end give you the 1780 files that represent that mess you did right there.
Speaking of messes, we have N2 NWK. Dell's in the chat, and he's at a 6 for while in the chat.
Oh,
So, hi, Dell.
There's a use case there for you,
Yeah.
Sebastian.
yeah.
So when have you been looking at other things? Like I know you briefly kind of mentioned maybe doing some rig control, or maybe because I know a lot of people are doing FT8.
Yeah.
And maybe how we could integrate some of the FT8 logging into PoLo and around the field.
Mm-hmm. So I have I have 3 big buckets of things I want to work on. One is cat control. The other is syncing between phones and devices and tablets, and syncing is also very important once I bring the third bucket of things, which is the desktop version. So I'm kind of working on all 3 things at the same time, which kind of makes all 3 slower than I would like. But I think I need both the desktop version and syncing to work at the same time. And cat control has been a bit of a challenge on phones, especially because on iOS, the Apple doesn't let you do any Bluetooth connections or USB serial connections. All you can do is Wi-Fi or Bluetooth Low Energy, which has the same name as Bluetooth, but it's a different protocol, BLE. So the few devices that actually have Wi-Fi cat control, like the ICOM 705, the protocol is horrible. I started looking at it and I realized it will take me a month to implement this directly. So what we've started is some people in the Ham2K Discord have started building little pieces of hardware using embedded circuits like the ESP32 processors or the Raspberry Pi Zero, so that you can connect that device to your radio. You run something like HamLib on that device.
Okay.
And that talks using Bluetooth Low Energy to your phone. So that's kind of like delaying implementing cat control in PoLo, but once that's ready, the support in PoLo will go very quickly.
So like in concept, like a Bluetooth digirig.
Kind of like a Bluetooth digirig, yes. You can see it that way. Because otherwise it was going to be a lot of work to get it to control directly from your phone. And we decided that this was worth, we'll see how well it works, but it was worth trying first.
I'm sorry, Frank, are you trying to send CW over ground loop there?
No,
he's trying to get that 6.
Wait, am I hitting the key? The keyer is not even turned on right now.
Yeah, I'm hearing. Well,
it sounded like straight. It sounded like straight key.
Yeah,
that's sure. No, it's not even making contact right now.
All right.
Apparently, John WV3L heard something too.
I did
See,
too. Yeah.
if I only knew CW to translate that.
Yeah, no, Kier's not even. No, I can't even pull it up on screen right now. Yeah, it's
We-
not on right now.
We believe you.
Trust me, if it were on, oh jeez, let's hear.
Oh,
That-
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, that's when the
Stop.
Kier's on.
Stop. Stop it. Stop it. Stop
That's
it.
fugly.
You know how we solve this problem, right?
Boot. Yep.
Yeah.
That's how
I
you take
know.
care of it.
Oh, now the feng shui that John had me coordinate is all messed up here.
Yeah, all the
Right.
bald guys aren't in the top row anymore.
I think
know
it-
where
I
They're
don't
Vince
facing
is.
the opposite way.
I don't think it was the bald guys per se. I think
It's
it
just
was.
the way we were looking
Yeah.
on screen.
Oh,
Because I'm
Well-
turning that way to
There
see
you
my
go.
second monitor, and he's turning that way to see his second monitor.
And then-
I see.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
monitor.
honestly, I think it's because Sebastian and I are sporting man
No, it's
beards.
facial hair in the center, bald on top,
Yeah.
cool guys on bottom.
Yeah.
Oh man, you guys got the chat going with my sound now. Traveling Ham, Family Feud buzzer. Nate, my speakers don't like Frank. Sorry guys. Oh, let's just fix that. There we go. HF.
I don't
off.
know. Chat,
But-
chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you want me to dump Frank for the night.
Watch all the ones come in. See you guys. I already know it. Anyway,
Real quick, speaking of
going
the
back to
chat,
the question of PoLo and cat control and what else, it's like
yeah,
I do.
I was gonna say just 1 second, real quick, guys. Speaking of chat, right now I don't know where all this is streaming out to, but if you do want to be part of the chat, YouTube, and then up there in the top corner is a QR code for the Ham Radio Kids Table Discord. There is a live stream section in there where you can be part of the chat if you're on one of the other platforms that isn't supported through YouTube and in chatting. So and Jeff, our very own Vanna White of the Kids Table, there we go, was doing that. So yeah, I apologize, Sebastian.
No, and since we're doing sponsor messages, go to polo.ham2k.com. You'll get all the links there to download the app, to join the Discord, the forums. Please sign up, follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel, click on the bell, do all the things, comment. You know the drill. It helps a lot with the algorithm. I think that I've been trying to get a channel going for PoLo to reach more people and to explain how to use features, how to use call stacking, for example, or how to use multiple park activations. PoLo has a lot of features that are not obvious, and that's okay. I think that PoLo, I want PoLo to make it easy to do the easy normal things and make it possible to do the hard things. It doesn't necessarily mean you can make it easy to do the hard things. But videos are great at explaining how that works and how you can do it yourself.
And so tell us what your YouTube channel is called.
Ham2K Ham2K apps is the name.
Vince,
of
it's
the
in the links.
Yeah. And if
in
you
the
search for
Discord there.
Ham2K, you'll probably, it should show up as the top result, I hope.
Yeah.
I must need new glasses. I'm sorry, Tim. I can't see it. I was gonna populate it in the chat.
Okay. Well, it looks like Jeff might have posted it in there.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I
Thank
did
you,
the
Jeff.
polo. You're welcome. The polo.ham2k.com.
Yeah, the
Polo that
website.
Ham2K has at the bottom of that side has all the social links. And there should be a YouTube link there.
Okay.
And in the
Oh,
app also
Polo-
has a link.
yeah, I got it.
If you go on the settings
On
it has
PoLo
all the
Ham
links.
2K. Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
I was on www. Yeah, that was my dumbassery. Okay, well, hey, what else is new?
Audio issues.
not
here.
laughing at
Vince
you.
Not doing this. I got
Vince,
it.
we're not laughing at you, buddy. We're laughing with you.
I know.
Okay.
All right, so listen, Sebastian has only 208 subscribers right now, and we have 32 watching. So it would be wonderful if he could get to
Yes.
a number of more subscribers, like, I don't know, 225. So y'all hit that subscribe button, please.
We
thank
actually
you.
have 70 across all the platforms between
Awesome.
YouTube, Twitch, X, and Facebook. There's 70 people watching right
Go
now.
click that
70
subscribe button.
Yes, please
Smash
do.
the
All of you
button.
subscribe.
Hey, so we have a really good question in exchange for which KE0VIM is already going to hit subscribe, but he wants to know, and he just did. Thank you. He wants to know when PoLo is coming out for Windows.
I've literally this week I started the very first lines of code of the Windows version, or the desktop version. I don't want to promise anything. I'd expect a couple of months before we have like a good test version that people can start playing with. It might not have all the features of PoLo mobile just yet, but I think the development will probably move very fast once we have the base application built. So yes, no, it's one of the things that I know that it's really important to get out as soon as
Now,
possible.
now,
That's
Vince.
great.
Now, Vince.
Yes, Frank.
Knowing Mike, the correct answer is Mike. Get a Mac machine. Period. Just get Mac. Be done with it.
Get an
Just get
iPhone,
Mac.
get an iPad.
Yeah.
That's a very nice. It works on Mac laptops. So
Yes, it does. I will attest to that. That's the only place I use it because it drives me absolutely barmy to try and type on a phone screen.
I mean,
Exactly, phone.
I
So,
I,
Get an
I
iPad.
I I get it. I mean, I've done 300 QSO hours with on my phone, like for an entire hour of 300 QSOs,
Yep.
and it's fine. I realized that a year ago I would not have thought that it was gonna be that fine. But yes, not everybody's like it. You need to it needs to work for you.
Yeah.
okay. So Mike does have an iPhone. He just hates logging on the phone. Mike, do you have
Get
a
an
Bluetooth
iPad.
keyboard? Like what Jeff was just showing? If so, hook the Bluetooth keyboard up to the phone. Problem solved. That's how I do it out in the field.
iPad
And
Pro
I would
with the
challenge
keyboard.
people to try doing one entire operation in your phone. Try to log 30 contacts on your phone. And if after logging 30 contacts on your phone you hate it, then move on. That's fine. But give it a try because it's not as bad as you think.
Sebastian, let me just see here. On my phone alone, which one is my highest log? I see 209 contacts for one activation, 224 for another. Oh, here we go. 564 activations in one or contacts in one UTC day, all on my phone.
Yeah, no, it's too
And we all know
again,
Frank has fat fingers
it's not
too.
for everybody, but I think a lot of people are afraid of trying it, and it's not going to be as bad as you think.
It
So
really is not that bad at all.
I use my problem with the phone is my eyesight. That's where I have most problems. But I'll keep my phone if there's a park, a target of
have you heard?
opportunity that I can
I
just
mean, this is
do a
not
quick hit.
it's not April 1st. It's April 2nd, so it's not. But have you heard about? They invented this new thing. It's not exactly for ham radio, but it's a piece of like clear thing that you put in front of your eyes that helps you see better when you have the phone
Oh, I have
nearby.
glasses. I have glasses. I have glasses.
No, I get it.
You
I
know,
get it.
Look, buddy, when are you going to write this for a jitterbug phone? That's what we would. That's with the phone with the big buttons on it. That's what we need to get this on.
Like
You got hit
T9
like
text entering call signs in T9.
yep,
Oh,
T9 entry.
Roger has a great idea here, and it gives Jeff more watch time hours. Watch Jeff's next activation video, or go back to any of the other ones. Watch the activation videos and log along on your phone.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. You could do that. Yeah, or not even just watch any of my videos mostly.
Yeah, Jeff's just like, just watch them all. Matter of fact, he's got a playlist
Subscribe.
out there. If you just click on it and let it autoplay.
Yeah,
Keep
you'll
it
get
happy.
through all my activations.
There you go.
Yeah,
But you were asking about what else I want to do, and like I want. It might not be PoLo, the name of the app. It might be different apps or something. But I want to do a great general logger, or a great tool to manage your logs more than anything else. Like the tool you run on your desktop where you dump all your logs and manage them. And you can, if you're doing DX, you can tell you all the entities you've done and all of those things. and I want to do a good contest logger. I think contest loggers are probably one of the areas where amateur radio software actually moved forward in the last few years, but
They
not
still
by
look like
much.
they're written at the turn of the century, though.
Yes,
Very
but
smally move forward.
they came up with a few good ideas that I've some of them I found as inspiration for PoLo. But I think it can there. I don't know. I have the feeling that you can do much better, or like something that works better for me. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily mean better for everybody else, but I can do better for myself. I discovered that the small screen lets me focus in a way that a huge monitor does not. I have the impression that the ideal contest login environment will probably fit in an iPad, and a small iPad at that. A phone
So
might be too small,
I use a
but
Android, a 7-inch Android tablet. Size
yeah,
wise, I find that to be perfect. The
I think
the tablet itself is a little slower than what I would care for. But if I
yeah,
had
that's the problem with smaller devices. They tend to be slow.
I think
But
if I had a 7 to 10-inch iPad, which I've got, it's in pieces. I had to replace the screen. I haven't put it all back together yet. But the I think with that, whether I'm using a keyboard, external keyboard like Jeff was showing, or just using the touchscreen, I think that would probably, because the speed wise that was
yeah,
relatively current.
no,
So
it's like a small screen and a keyboard is probably all you need.
mhm.
I
But a
like
small screen that has smart information in it,
I like
that has
the
what's
using
relevant
it.
at the moment for you, instead of having 18 different windows. Like I find that sometimes the software developers they realize, oh, I need to show the band map, and I need to show the I don't know
Spotting.
the
Spotting.
spotting, and I need to show the solar information, and I need to show the multiplier list. I need to show all these things. So I'm going to put them each on a separate window and let the user deal with that problem. And
That's
that's
the
what you end up
great
with.
thing. That's the great thing about using it on iPad versus the phone. Um, I use my iPad all the time when I start digitally logging, and being able to have the spotting for that band right there,
On
I
the
could go
side. No,
through
that's
there.
beautiful.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
It's awesome. It's
yeah.
awesome. I love that feature, and I could just go through. And if I'm just hunting other activators, I could just go through, start at like the bottom of the band, and just start going down and
Hmm.
getting every activator I can hear. And that's just another great feature of
And
PoLo.
and like trust me, I mean, I think that the current state of PoLo, I'm not going to say it's mediocre. It's good enough, but there's so many things I want to do better. I think that when I'm calling CQ, I don't need the band map there. I don't need the spotting list, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
I want to see my rates, but I would love to get a little highlight if one of my friends shows up at another park.
That'd be a cool thing. Yeah.
Things like that. And that's not unlike what contest loggers do.
could
You
you
know, to alert you that
integrate?
a new multiplier is up,
Yeah,
or
could you
so.
integrate ham alert, for
That's
example?
what I was thinking.
If you could just take the triggers that somebody already has in ham alert and integrate those into PoLo to give you it's instead of so if you're not focused on ham alert or on your phone or
Yeah.
whatever, that those ham alert things would pop up, because I've put in there like when I was trying to get Hawaii, anytime somebody was spotted in Hawaii in a
It
POTA park,
will.
I got the ham alert, and I ended up making the contact while I was out doing a park activation. So it was
Mhm.
actually a park to park where I couldn't get them from home.
I do that all the time. I have running PoLo, doing my activation, either hunting or calling CQ, and I have Ham Alert installed, so I'll see the notifications from there too. And I'll say, "Oh, look, there's Tim. He's at another park. Maybe I'll take a break in a
No,
few minutes and go hunt him."
that's one of those things where Polo could do a much better job integrating with Ham Alert, just
Mhm.
showing the data that Ham Alert already filters. But I basically decided that the current Ham Alert app is good enough that I'd rather focus on cat control and Windows and all the other things. I've had to prioritize and triage and decide what to focus on. And like Ham Alert in particular, Ham Alert is a great app. That's a good example of actual good improvement and development in the amateur radio. That feels like it to be part of the 2020s, not the 2000s.
It has value. It
Yes.
brings value to the end user.
Yeah. And again, there are things you can do. There are things they can do better. There are things PoLo could do better to integrate with it. But the truth is that it's good enough that I'd rather deal with other problems first. And that's why I didn't go down that rabbit hole of trying to do better Ham Alert integration with PoLo, because I looked into it. I thought about it for a while, and then it was no. This is it. I don't have to right now. I can do more important stuff first, and then look into that.
Really great comment in the chat here from Jody. Thank you, Jody, for your very kind comment. Despite Frank giving you the green light to raise heck a bit. Respect to any dev that puts out ham software and actually seems to care about the UX. This is good. 3 pats on the back to Sebastian, sir.
Yeah, I was
I'll
about
take
to
the
say
pats.
that
Thank
one.
you.
Damn right.
Absolutely. And Vince, Jody is the Canadian SAS for any live stream. He has that green light.
Oh, hell yes.
There.
Yes.
So, you gotta have that balance.
Jody,
there.
Most people don't know, Jody's MP, his member of parliament there, has actually submitted legislation to have him officially designated as Alberta's. I think you guys are in Alberta.
He's in Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan's official Canadian SAS master.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know that, and he doesn't talk about it very much, but he should.
No, not at all.
No,
It's just it didn't pass Parliament, but it was proposed.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
In that last session before they broke for the summer.
They broke. Yeah.
Yep.
Not timing. That's always a problem.
Yes, it is.
And James, I know both Jeff and I responded to you. As far as Ham Alert for Nebraska goes, both Jeff and I have a video on it, or ask Abe.
Hey, Sebastian. So let me ask the forward-looking question here. What's coming up for PoLo that you want to talk about?
I mean, I think I laid bare the full plan. The short-term plan is basically it's the desktop version, the sync service, and cat control. Those things are really important to have out there.
All
I
right.
want to get the and this is for myself for October for New York CUSO party. I want to have support for the roving to log in a rove. I want to log. I like to break records in a New York CUSO party. In fact, last year I did a county line operation with SO2R, but it was portable, not moving around. And I actually did not log with PoLo because I was doing SO2R. I was doing 2 radios at the same time, and PoLo, you do need serious cat control features for that. I want PoLo to reach that level. It's not going to be this year. But this year, I'm thinking of doing a rove and go through multiple counties and multiple parks, because I think that the biggest secret to getting good scores in a CUSO party is to do it at a park, if you're portable or mobile, because you get 2 audiences. You get all the people who are looking for the CUSO party and all the people who are looking for the park, and both count for both activities.
Sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have my park over here where I'm activating all the time. I can sit on the county line and do that.
If you have a park at a county, I mean, I spent hours looking at maps to find good county line parks in New York State to do NYQP. And my plan for this year is to do that, but roving. Like I have like 3 parks are county lines plus 2 other parks. So the problem with the parks that are county lines is they close at dusk, and New York CUSO party ends at 10 p.m. So I cannot stop right there, and I need to move on. But the idea is to do a roving and I want that one. I want to log in PoLo as a single activity, single operation. So I need to figure out how to mark that I moved from one park to the other park, but also while driving from a park to the next one, I still can make NYQP contacts, even if they're not PODA contacts. And then I cross state lines, and then when I cross county lines, I need to record which county I'm in for the QSO. So I need to be able to figure all that by October. That's going to be a fun challenge. And then I want to build a better station management tool that it's kind of like a little bit what Node-RED can let you do. I think that can be done much better too. That's another area where Node-RED is a great tool. I have my dashboard built on it to control my antenna switches and a lot of other things, but I would love to do something better than that. That also lets me use, I don't know, like MIDI controllers to do buttons, or like a Stream Deck to use the buttons on the Stream Deck to control things. So I'm not short on ideas. I'm short on time, but not on ideas.
Yeah. So how you're not a one-man show. Or are you? I know you've got a group of people. Or do you have contributors that are helping out with?
I'm a one-man show that's building a community. We have a dozen contributors that have helped with directly with code. There's a few people that have helped add some of the activities that are more relevant in Europe, like bunkers in the air and castles in the air. That I don't know have enough experience in them to actually do a good job. There's
so
M1SDH Steve has been the person to add the most code other than me in the code base. And I've tried to recruit a lot of people who are not developers, but who can enter some text on a file to collect all the information about the QSO parties. Because there's a lot of QSO parties that you have to read the rules and figure out exactly what the differences are and enter all the county names and abbreviations and all of that into PoLo. So we have about a dozen people who've contributed directly to PoLo. PoLo is open source, so anybody can go into GitHub, see the source, fork it, change it, contribute back. I do have a pet peeve on ham radio projects that are supposedly open source, but the source you have to kind of like ask for permission and be invited in to see the source and participate. Or they're free, but you don't get the source unless you become friends of the committee or whatnot. PoLo is directly and purely open source. You can get the source, you can compile your own version and install it on your phone and run it directly if you want. And that's, to me, that's an insurance policy for the users that I'm not going to abandon the app. Or if I abandon the app for some reason, someone else can pick it up where I left it. And it's a reason for me to keep me on my toes. I cannot just coast and say, that's it. PoLo is good enough. I'm not going to do anything else, because anyone can come, fork it, and release their own version. They cannot call it PoLo, but they can release their own version of it with all the source code that's out there available. The app is also free. You don't have to pay for anything for it. I like to think that the app is pay what you want or pay what you can. There's ways of donating money. You can do it directly in the app. You can do it through Buy Me a Coffee. The links is in the polo.ham2k.com site. You don't have to. It's very appreciated when you do. It's kind of like I've started to see it a little bit like tipping your waitress at a restaurant. It's like it does.
We've
every
added
single
to the
donation
male
puts a smile in my face.
We've added the male facial hair here on the bottom.
There you go. You're properly sorted there, Carlos.
Phil, we have a couple.
Oh, jeez. Look who it is.
we have three fellas that are lacking, and then there's the three fellas that can
Yeah.
carry the load, right?
Right.
Excuse me.
So,
I like living
Sure.
dangerously, so I use a
Okay.
double-bladed razor.
And remember, boys and girls, the Ham Radio Kids Table is not about your age. It's about a state of mind.
and about the beard.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, it's about the beer tonight too.
And it's about the baldness.
Yes,
I might even
about the
go get a
baldness.
straight razor too. I haven't tried using a straight razor, but double-bladed safety razors, those are fun.
Dude, let me tell you first, and not to get off the topic terribly, but my grandpa's safety razor. I know it doesn't look it, but I do touch up there underneath here and whatnot. Those single edge.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're fantastic.
I second that.
They're fantastic. So I hopped on here basically to sing the praises of PoLo and how proactive the team that Sebastian has gathered. Obviously, he's the lead developer in this, but he has a team that either assists or provides assistance somehow. And you can go into that Discord and say, "Hey, I'm having a problem with," and if you're able to show the issue, right? Like you can't just say I'm having the problem, right? But you have to look,
Evidence.
as a developer in the long days, not anymore. I need to know the steps you took, and I need to be able to reproduce them. And if you're able to do that, Sebastian and his crew are extremely uh,
Helpful.
yeah, exactly. That's
Responsive.
responsive to the idea of, oh, let me try to reproduce this. Give me your exact version number. I'll do that, and then they go, oh, I see the problem, and before you know it, it's fixed. It is
If I can
expand-
reproduce the
beautiful.
problem, I usually by that evening I'm pushing a fix automatically.
To
Every now
expand
and
on
then
what to expand on what Carlos just said, I came in Discord one day and went, "Hey, Sebastian, this isn't working right. What's going on?" He went, "Oh, you're still on winter edition. Upgrade to spring. Go into the App Store and update." Oh, okay, yeah. I thought I had already done that.
There's one thing about the app that it's antithetical to what some older hams do. This is an app that's a living thing. It's meant to be always updated and always evolving. If you're not automatically updating the app every week, you're being left behind, and I cannot help you. I cannot do anything for you if that's the case. You have this. Some hams have the mentality that I installed this on Windows 95. I got it to work. I don't need to touch it anymore.
Wait. Windows 95. I thought we were still on Windows 3.
I respect that. PoLo is not that. And for example, I mean, this month, the April release, I'm updating a lot of the internal framework, and I'm running into some issues with maps and older versions, older tablets, and I'm going to have to make the decision to drop support for certain older tablets. And I feel deeply sorry for the people who were using PoLo on those tablets where it's no longer going to work.
So,
But I need to be able to move forward.
one of the things
keep
you
working on it.
mentioned a little bit ago was that you can download the source and compile this for yourself. And I have a very old Fire tablet that I wanted to test and see if it worked. And sure enough, I couldn't get the application on it because it was too old. But I did download the source, ran it through the compiler, got the APT down, put it on the tablet. Guess what? It works. Is it fast? No, it's not fast because it's an ancient tablet. The limitation is the tablet, not the software, right?
Yep.
But the fact that you can have real, true open source software that is not just that, it's also very well maintained and very well documented. Thank you, by the way.
You're very gracious by calling
so-
it very well documented. I would say documented ? But sure, I'll take it.
How about this? It was well enough documented for my very out of the game developer mode to go, oh, this is how I need to do this, right?
That's
So-
that's great to hear. I mean, I have to be pragmatic because again, I don't have all the time in the world. I'm aiming at good enough with the idea of always improving from there. So if the
Good enough
documentation
is-
was good enough to get you to compile and work, then it was good enough. I know all the things that are missing in PoLo right now that I want to add. So to me, to my eyes, PoLo feels incomplete and mediocre, but I know that it's good enough, that it works, that it solves the problems. But it's the idea is that to keep adding in more and more and more and more. It's like if you are the kind of person that gets annoyed when they move your cheese, and when one day you install a new version of PoLo and the home screen looks slightly different, I'm sorry, you potentially will be pissed off every now and then because things change in PoLo.
Four of us
So-
are laughing because we understand the moved with cheese reference.
Yes, no,
Yes.
and to be honest, sometimes I open an app and they change it on me and I'm pissed off. It's like it's a natural reaction. But then I say, okay, whatever. Let me look at what changed. Let me see if it's working.
For
And-
the
and-
chat, he's up to 222 subs over on YouTube. I just dropped the
Ooh.
link. Let's see if we can get you up to 225.
You
And
said
then I-
225. That's a
Yeah, let's get you up to 225. And there's a couple questions in here I want to hit real quick. Jeff wants to know, do you use a problem tracking database? And I told him Discord.
that I have an internal tracker where I add things as they get identified. I don't want to open it up because not everybody is a professional software developer who knows how to create a good ticket. The Discord is more for interactive discussion. There's also the forums on the web. That's where I would prefer people to put their problems and questions, both because it gets documented, but also because searching on Discord is horrible. If
Yeah.
you come 2 days later with the same problem that someone else had on Discord, Discord is useless for that. The forums are great for it. And then in the forums, we discuss it there. And sometimes I might say, come to the Discord and we can chat about it to fine tune to properly identify what the problem is. But I prefer to start at the forums than the Discord if you have a problem.
Absolutely.
Or both. Post it on the forums and then come on Discord and say, hey, I posted this on the forums and here's more details. That
And
works
then
too.
one I'm going to have to dig for a little bit here. N1 Easy Steve, he wants to talk to you about integrating PoLo with their new ham radio social media app that integrates real-time QSO sync like Dropbox with multiple logbook apps and front-end log LLTW and other services. That came over from the Ham Radio Kids Table Discord.
That I mean, come to the Ham2K Discord. I mean, or ping me on the Kids Table Discord. I'm there too. But let's talk. I mean,
Wouldn't
among the other things I want to add to PoLo, I want to have a native sync in PoLo, but I want to also make it possible to, instead of having to export an ADIF file and then download it and then submit it to PODA, I want to be able to submit to PODA directly from the app, submit to QRSet, submit to whatever login apps you use. It's not going to be a sync because I don't intend to pull that data from your login app into PoLo. That's a much more complicated proposition. But to push from PoLo into any other of these sources so that by the time you're done with your operation, right now you could generate your ADIF, save it, go to the PODA site and upload it. That's something, it feels good when you're finished an operation and you're walking back to your car in the parking lot. And by the time you get to your car, you've already submitted the log. It feels like those GIFs that you have the guy walking away from the explosion burning behind them. That's the feeling I get.
It's funny. That's in my opinion, that is just good operating procedure to get that log up as fast as you can.
I do, yes. I
Yes.
mean, when I finish the operation, I save it to Dropbox in my case right away. I don't necessarily upload it to PODA, but I save it to Dropbox. But I want to make it so that all you need to do is press one button and it will upload it to PODA, SODA, and QRZ if that's your thing. or club log or wave log, or like one button that will sync. You declare your operation finished, and PoLo will sync it for you in all the services you need to sync.
And
The
then
REST API.
going along with the Android topic there, Chris Bricker wants to know, are you dropping older iPads?
I think I will push the minimum version of iOS needed to
Chris,
support.
if your iPad does not have at least a lightning plug in it, we're going to have problems. Okay. He's going to drop it. That giant connector, if it's still got it, you need to upgrade it.
The 30
Part of
pin
the problem
connector.
is that I use a bunch of libraries that make my life easier.
Listen,
That without those libraries, I would not have the time to build PoLo. It'll
The
be 10 times harder. So when they update and their minimum requirements go up, I just have to push my minimum requirements up. That's the truth.
I was going to say the 30-pin plug is fantastic for those of us that want to use an old iPad or an old iPod as a music device. Other than as a music device, it's time to upgrade, folks. You've gotten your money's worth out of it. Time to upgrade.
Yep.
And it's like if your tablet is more than 8 years old, I think that it's okay for it to have limited use now.
If your tablet is so old that it cannot have security updates on it, you need to retire it.
There it
If
is.
you can't update the operating system, yeah.
There it is.
And Tim, that's it for now.
Okay. So you mentioned something, Sebastian, that I kind of had banging around in the head. I've got a problem. And my problem is that I do a lot of park activations that are in different grid squares. How can I manage those in PoLo, short of dumping them into another logging program to get it to go the various things? How can we simplify that process in the way that
You mean
I
activate
can
one park and move to different grids in that park?
well no, just as a logging app in general, I've got to upload my stuff, and if I want to get them stamped for QRZ or logbook of the world, how do we manage that inside of the app? And this is a general logging kind of problem. But
the answer I can give you now is I want to get there. I'm not there yet.
Yeah. I guess maybe how do we use software to create a way to just it goes into, it's this park, it's in this grid square.
It's easy.
And automatically batches
the data
it up
is there.
and
all you need to do is write the code that says, okay, when I'm syncing to logbook of the world, let me pay attention to the grid square. If the grid square is not my queue page, then I need to sign that queue so in a different way. I
really wish logbook world of the world would get off that bastardized version of a SSL certificate.
But I think that it should be possible to maybe not solve all of those problems, but make it a lot better. That to let PoLo create new locations for you and manage those locations based on grid squares and things like that, and submit to logbook of the world the right way.
Because I honestly don't when I log here at home, yes, because but when I have to change every time I want to bring in QSOs, it's a pain in the butt to have to figure out what the grid square is and make a new entry in the TQSL program and go that route. And especially if it's, for 5 QSOs in one park or 10 QSOs.
Tim, don't get me started on LLTW. We'll be here all night. James wants to know, will Fire 10 HD run PoLo?
I don't know.
Yes.
The main thing is I'm not pushing the app to the Amazon App Store. Somebody else asked about Obtainium, which is another like alternative app marketplace.
The answer to that question is yes, if you compile it yourself, because that's the Fire tablet I'm running it on.
Yeah,
there you go, James.
So the answer is download the Android development tools, pull the source code, file it, pull the APT, transfer it to your tablet. It will work. It will be slow. Understand that it will be slow. The Fire 10 is an ancient piece of gear. And if you're willing to accept the limitations of that hardware, it will work.
And Chris asked if he could use Obtainium to upload PoLo directly on his Android device. That's kind of like an alternative app marketplace. I mean, to be honest, I don't have the time to solve all of the app publishing problems that require to publish to Obtainium or to publish to the Amazon Play Store. But I would totally be open to somebody coming and saying, "Hey, I'll take care of that." Like every time there's a new version, I'll post it for you and manage that for you. So if someone wants to volunteer and help take care of that, I'm totally open to added support for that. I'm not against the Amazon Play Store or alternative app stores. I just don't have the time. I have to prioritize, like between my day job and the time I wanted to put on PoLo and
Well,
family.
Well,
And
he's
those
got a
what,
other
contest too.
less
you want to be
important things.
able to pay the bills? What kind of
Right.
ridiculousness is that?
Yeah. So I need to prioritize and try to do the things that will benefit me first and the largest number of people second. But I'm open to, like, if you have an itch that you want to scratch, I'll help you do that and manage that yourself if you want to do that.
So, James, there you go. And you answered your own question. Yes, you need a new iPad mini. That is exactly right. Jody, our Canadian sass up there, asks, have you explored
Sasshole. Sasshole.
Sasshole? Yes, that's right.
The sasshole.
And that was Jody's phrase. We didn't give it to him.
Yes.
Yeah, he gave it to himself. Have you explored AI coding assistants? I know
Yes.
we've had that
Yeah, no.
discussion around here before.
I've used coding AI assistants for a while. I've used Cursor these days. It's funny how sometimes they get the concepts of amateur radio right, and often they get them very wrong, like all AI coding assistants. But it's helpful. It helps me try to get an extra 10-20% productivity out of my time. So I've been doing it for a while.
And then Chris says, going back to Obtainium here, it just requires an APK available on your GitHub, and Obtainium just fetches it.
The main thing is that I need to make sure that whatever of these mechanisms to distribute direct APKs support automatic updates as I release new versions, and that the work of putting the APK in there is simple. I mean, Chris, stop by the Discord and help me set it up. That if it's that simple, it won't take much time. I'm totally open for that.
Yes, Jody, I'd be slightly regretting giving us that phrase too at this point. It might carry over to future other live streams.
There's no might about it.
Forever.
And Chris
Never known
Bricker, in
this
case you're not
asshole.
in the Discord already, I just gave you the link there.
Or it's up there in the top corner.
Yeah,
By-
or
by-
For
Van and Jeff.
No,
Polo.ham2k.com.
for Ham2K.
For Polo, yeah, polo.ham2k.com has all the links, especially near the bottom. They're all like there in the footer.
I believe they're also in the description here. If
Yeah.
they're not, I will put them in the description.
Gentlemen, I'm wondering, now, understanding that I came a little late to the stream, I'm wondering if the most important thing has been asked yet. Ready?
We're waiting.
Cafe.
So I never got the coffee you promised.
Coffee feed.
You didn't get it?
No, at
Oh.
Dayton last year, you promised me some of your wonderful coffee. I
I
never
no,
got it.
that's not where I was going
Shame
with it.
on
But
you.
now I need to fix that now because I shipped it to the address I had. So I will fix that. But not what I meant. I meant, like, who's buying this man coffee? This man needs coffee.
There's so no. I'll
to
I'll
fuel
I'll
the
do my own
development
promotion.
stream.
It's like, so I mean, I don't expect to live. I would love to be able to devote full time to PoLo, but I'm very, very far from that. But I'm not closing that door, and I want to keep growing PoLo and keep raising more money. At the same time, I don't want PoLo to be an app that you have to pay a lot of money. I think a lot of people get a lot of value out of PoLo, and they enjoy it enough to give me significant donations, and that's incredible. But not everybody can afford even $5 for an app. I mean, there's people, if you don't live in the US or the UK and Europe and Canada, $5 is a significant amount of money. I don't
Yeah.
want to stop anybody from using PoLo due to that. There's people here in the US that live on a retirement income that can't afford to pay for apps randomly.
No, and to be fair, not what I meant. I meant, the people that can buy this buying a cup of coffee. It's just a
But-
cup of coffee.
But I really appreciate I really appreciate if you go to buy me a coffee or inside the app you can donate money directly now. Buy me a coffee takes a smaller cut, so if you do that, that's better. But whatever's the fastest for you, that's very easy. I would love to make PoLo a sustainable effort. I mean, I put, I don't know, 20 hours a week consistently, sometimes more, on PoLo. That's like
That's a lot of work,
half-time
dude.
job.
That's a lot of work.
And I've been getting more donations, but I don't make minimum wage out of PoLo at this point. But I believe that there is the possibility of getting to the point where I can live off of PoLo. It's just not going to happen right away. But I want to do it in a way that people give me the money. People give me their money because they want to, not because it's their only choice they have. It's like that because they want to contribute, they believe in the project, they want to support it, and they want to donate money. And like that's what I think will get me furthest. If I had started PoLo by saying this is an app that costs $10 and that's it, I don't think we would have been here chatting about it.
I tell you what, up in the top corner,
Yeah,
I
for sure.
put it up there. There's a new QR code up there in the top corner. If you want to go support PoLo, click on that. It'll take you to buy me a coffee and help Sebastian
Or-
out to help
Sebastian,
keep
are you
the
coming?
app free.
Are you coming to Hamvention?
I'm going to Hamvention. I'm going to be there from Wednesday to Saturday early morning. So I'm not going to be at the convention on Saturday.
Ooh, okay.
Because I have to come back. My daughter decided to graduate that weekend.
Well,
How
how
dare she?
inconsiderate of the school.
How very inconsiderate of her.
Yeah.
So
and I just figured out a way that to go and just be back in time. But I have to fly back Saturday morning. So
Sebastian, what you do, as a parent of a student, you go and you tell the PTA board or whoever that you have a very important life critical meeting that weekend and they need to push the whole graduation forward back a weekend.
yeah, this is college. They're more strict about
College,
those
yeah,
things.
that's different.
No.
Never mind, that's
Yeah,
different.
no, it's like they're trying to be professional,
where I
Yeah.
was,
No,
where I was going with this is,
Professional.
if you're going to Hamvention and you enjoy PoLo, first of all, go meet the man behind the app and say hi. And when you shake the man's hand, if you slip a 20 in there, he's not going to say no, right?
I mean, and even if you don't slip a 20, I'll be carrying stickers. You most likely gonna find me near the PODA tent. That's
Probably
most
coding
likely.
something, right?
Yeah, or I'll be walking around, but when I'm not walking around, that's where I like to hang out. I don't know. There's something about the PODA community that's really special.
Yes, it is.
That it I don't know. The very first time I showed up there, I felt welcome and embraced and loved, and like I wanted to be there. So that's where you'll find me. And stop by, say hi, bring your complaints, bring your the things you want to change, the things you want to see, bring your compliments, of course, and bring your $20 bills, of course.
See,
I'll take
that's
5
the ticket,
singles
right?
too, whatever.
Bring your compliments written on $20 bills.
Yeah, your greenbacks.
it makes a good
Your
medium
green stack.
for submitting notes.
Yeah,
I was
It's
gonna
like
say,
Good paper medium.
you could write on the back
let's
there.
turn the PODA tent into a strip club.
Oh, now watch out.
No.
No,
Oh, nobody wants to see ugly old guys with hairy
Hey,
chests.
Would that be? Would they be polo dancing there?
Oh,
Yeah, no,
that's
this
okay.
That's a
okay.
Freddie-
this is what
that's a
happens
Freddie
when
Mac-
the show runs for past an hour.
That's a
you see
Freddie
that?
Mac dad. That's a Freddie Mac dad joke Friday.
Did
Or
you see
Wednesday.
Right?
My glass automatically refilled with whiskey.
I noticed that.
Can you send her over here when you get a chance?
All right.
Thank you, baby.
I need a little more. So John WV3L said that like 30 seconds before Sebastian did. I'll be near the strip club tent.
No, that's who inspired me.
Mm. All righty. So I guess, well, Mike just was able to join us. I guess he was at a club meeting tonight. Although I told him that the club just should integrate the Ham Radio Kids Table as part of their club meeting.
Yep.
Yeah, well, at my club meeting, one of my buddies came up to me during the break, and he's like, "Do you use PoLo?" And I was like, I could actually be on a live stream right now with Sebastian and them, and he's like, I guess somebody posted on the Facebook page about how the app crashed, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like,
oh, okay.
I'm like, well, we've been there, done
Just
this.
to make it clear, I don't go on the Facebook POTA because I don't go on the Facebook POTA group.
Smart
But
man.
Somebody pointed out that this person had posted there that they had lost the app had crashed.
Sebastian, that was me.
Oh yes,
that was me that did. So I saw that post, Mike, and I posted it in the Ham 2K Discord, and Sebastian responded, and I posted the response to the author.
He reached out by mail this morning, and I got him a copy of his log because I've been working on the sync service for PoLo, and it's not there yet, but PoLo is already sending all the QSOs to the sync service. So if you lose data and you had connection, those QSOs are in the server, and I can get them back.
Yeah, and I saw Frank's response to. I saw that post, so I know what you're talking about, and it's just amazing sometimes, like how that, people refer to it as a dumpster fire sometimes, and it's like sometimes like it just blows my mind how hams can be so helpful, but at times their initial reaction can just be to throw gas on a fire and stuff, and it's just like, oh my gosh, come on, like we don't need to go here and stuff. I've been using it. I used it today at lunch. For a quick activation. I've been using it since the fall, and I had to hop on to give you your flowers because the app is fantastic, and you've done a couple improvements recently that kind of address some of my primary concerns or challenges, which is my son has his general. We activate together often. I often go out with some friends, and it's nice to be able to do one log for a bunch of people. Which was something that was you could do the duplication in hammers, but like that's fantastic now, and that's super handy for those those opportunities or things where I go out and if I got my son or somebody else with me, and one
thing that doesn't work with duplication is that when you enter the station for an operation with comma separated multiple call signs, for example, PoLo will spot all of them.
Okay.
So they will get spotted, so people know that there's multiple call signs there. And also the reverse is that if PoLo sees in the spots multiple call signs being spotted at the same frequency in the same park, it'll combine them and show them as if they're operating together.
Okay.
Really?
So you'll see them on the spots as a comma list.
Nice.
There's some subtle user interface niceties. For example, if I get a park to park and I am logging Vince, right, with VE6LK, and he says park to park, and I tap the park to park as area, it automatically puts in the prefix for Canada, right? And then
we talked about that an hour and a half ago.
Sorry. I like it.
we talked about how you don't have to enter US, but
Exactly.
Carlos noticed the subtlety that if it's based on the call sign you entered.
Exactly. It's based on
if you enter a call sign, it will put the POTA prefix for that call sign.
So
if you put a /VK, it'll put AU- for you.
So it's really neat. I mean, just the whole, multiple entries in one line by just comma, next call sign, comma, next call sign, comma, next park, comma, next park, comma. It makes the log entry so much smoother.
I'll tell you,
it's become normal for me, but I love that. The first time I implemented the multiple call sign entries, and I would be activating, and somebody, please stand by for a second, operator. For me, that used to be, oh damn, I have to go figure out what the park reference was again because they're not going to repeat it. Like now, it's like, sure, go ahead, give me the call sign. What is it?
One that snuck up on me was if I type in a call sign of a activator who is already spotted, it puts
pick
their
up the
park
park.
information
Yep.
in. Yes, I just saw that the other day. And I'm like, oh, hey now. I like that because I mean they told me they were a park to park, and I went to just out of habit went to go hit the P2P button to start to be ready to type it in. I look in there and it's already everything's already
Yeah,
filled
I
in.
noticed the same thing this weekend when I was out in Virginia. Yeah,
Mm.
it's nice.
So
It's
John is asking how do I pronounce the name of the app, and it's the name is Ham2K Portable Logger, or short PoLo, which is kind of like POWLO pronounced by somebody who doesn't speak English as their first language. That's the right pronunciation.
¿De qué tú hablas?
¿De qué estoy hablando, mijo? Tú sabes de qué estoy hablando yo. Esto se trata de Polo, la aplicación que estoy haciendo, mi amigo, mi
Bueno,
pana.
así pues sí, así pues sí.
So for those of you guys who are on YouTube, if you go down and hit the button really quick, it will auto translate for you now, and not only in the subtitles, but I've noticed now YouTube will start like taking my English speaking videos and translating it into spoken other languages, overdubbing them in other languages.
Yeah, I think I saw that new feature happen.
So bring back the 70s overdubbed kung fu movies in the form of YouTube. Yes.
Kill you all.
Yes.
You're 5'9".
When I'm operating, if I'm activating a park and I hear somebody like a Kilo Papa 4 or anybody from Latin America or Spain, I immediately code switch and go into Spanish. And I love those QSOs. But after that QSO is over, I go back to try to do my most perfect English. Kilo India 2 Delta, parks on the air, cures that. Like to try to get my people back. I can speak English, don't worry, I'll get you next.
It is difficult.
I do the thing, where I switch to Spanish, and if I'm doing activation with multiple people, they just look at me like, "That's cheating, man. Why are you cheating?"
One thing that where I'm at, I get a lot of Canadian stations when I'm activating.
I'm sorry.
Damn Canadians.
Well, yeah, but also down in the Caribbean too. So, or Texas. It just depending. I personally, my hope is to be able to learn at least enough French and enough Spanish to thank them and say goodbye to 73. The pleasantries you drop on the end. My fear is that if I switch from English to whatever French or Spanish, they'll think I'll speak it. No, I'm sure it'll be horrible enough that they'll be smart enough to know it's not.
No,
but then all of a sudden they'll come back and want to carry on a conversation, and I'll be like,
no,
crap.
They might send you. It's kind of like when I'm activating CW now that I know that I don't need to. I need to understand the 599 TU to finish the conversation.
Right.
And people sometimes will put something in the middle that I don't get. Like I do the same thing with Italians and Brazilians and because I don't speak Italian, but I know enough words to say grazie, buonasera, whatever. Right. I think that they appreciate it, and then they keep in English and they complete the QSO with no problems. Yeah. You can totally do that.
Well, Sebastian, that's the great thing about it is the root Latin languages. We all overlap just enough that we can basically get the general idea, and we're all good.
There you go.
Yeah.
And if you don't, just revert to English and hope the other station understands that one or two words.
So, I've forgotten most of it now, but when I was in the Navy, I traveled to a lot of countries. So first two things, how to get to the bathroom, how to get a beer. Those are the two important things to learn in any local language. Right. How to get a drink, how to go to the bathroom.
Well, I have to say 73 in that language now.
Yes.
That's the.
So we're actually coming up in almost 2 hours now. This has been a great time here with you, Sebastian. And we've got the giveaway drawing that I still have to do for the prison edition Denko 5.5 amp hour battery. But any parting thoughts and anything that on any words of encouragement for other people who are wanting to maybe try their hand at writing some applications for amateur radio?
I'd say go for it. We need more apps. We need better apps. Go for it. Come by the Discord. I'll help in whatever way I can, and I'll help I think that the few apps that are already out there, I think it's time to try to start connecting them together and make them work better too, instead of being like separate silos. I want to start working with CloudLog and WaveLog, for example. There are a couple of open source loggers, like general loggers. I think that yes, it's time to modernize the software of amateur radio. I think that there's so many things that are barely working right now that need updates and need improvements and need new takes and new approaches and new ideas, that I'm all for it. And if anybody's willing to give it a shot, I'll be there to help.
Sounds awesome. Appreciate it. Guys, any quick last things for Sebastian before we do the drawing?
So from my end,
nothing in the
a huge
chat.
thank you for a great app, dude. It legitimately, I started using it over a year ago. It's been fantastic, and every update brings just another edge on the UI that just makes it prettier, better every time. Thank you, dude. You're putting in a lot of work, and I don't know that you get thanked enough. I'm in the Discord enough to know when people are complaining, but
I mean, to be
never
honest,
come enough.
I definitely do not feel underappreciated or anything like that. I really get a lot of love from people, and it's important. It feeds me. It helps me keep going. Like, both in terms of people saying nice words about it, donating money, contributing on the Discord, like being part of a community, all of that helps and keeps me going. And I'm really happy with the reception I've got. Of course, I want more, sure, but I think that people. I mean, I love that people appreciate it. I love that it seems that it struck a chord and it works well and it solves a problem. And I love hearing people when that's the case. So thank you, Carlos.
And I got to echo Carlos's comments. I log strictly on my phone. Yes, I will use a Bluetooth keyboard once in a while, but I'm usually just sitting here, just tapping away, tap, tap. Absolutely love everything you've done, and I cannot wait to see what you do in the future here, Sebastian.
We're not
Thank you so
worthy.
much.
Thank you for treating us with such a wonderful app.
And
Excellent
a
app.
lot of people in the comments are saying the same thing. Jody says Sebastian brings heart to ham app dev. John says PoLo is Bay. Yeah, there's a lot of good. Let's hear. Nate says such a great part of the hobby. Everyone has a different skill set to improve the community.
I mean, one thing I love is to hear. Most of the time, I hear people talking about PoLo and saying that it's awesome, that it's great, that's fantastic. It's like people like it, and I love hearing that. It really gives me the energy to wake up every morning and put a couple of hours on PoLo work before going to my day job. It works. It feels like it made a difference, and that's kind of like what I set out to do, and it feels great to feel that it's working, that it's getting there.
And John also says cool dude to hang with too. Absolutely.
I concur. And he
I'll
likes to
be
drink beer.
in Dayton.
Well, Tim, there are a bunch of people in the chat
Yes.
that are looking for a draw, buddy.
I know. I feel so bad. Somebody was just asking if this was the prison edition of the battery, and it is. And I'm
one subscriber short though of the 225 you promised.
Oh well, let's get him up to 200. Let's get Sebastian up to 225, and we will pull the button. Where's the? I was going to share the picture because I would run out to the truck and get it right now, except for we're in the middle of a torrential downpour. And
same here.
Yeah,
it's almost like we're both in Indiana.
I think we are both in Indiana.
I think we might be.
Now, opposite ends of the state.
We're like 3 hours apart.
Apparently, I'm at 225 now.
Yeah,
We made it. We made
Sebastian.
it. Good job, team.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I went to my other accountant at that.
Well, Frank, I don't know, buddy. So
Oh.
let me see if I can't. Let me see if I
Rounding error. Yeah,
share.
we'll take a rounding error. We'll do that.
Will
Okay,
it
fine. I'll
let
use
me-
an account that I'm not that I'm a moderator of.
Oh, my brother just subbed, so we're good.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So this is the prison edition Denko 5.5 amp hour battery, and it's a pretty decent battery. I use it. You're gonna be able to run like a 705 or
Outstanding battery. I use one like
Mhm.
it all the time.
Yep. So that is what we're giving away. I've had a thing up, and actually the entries closed last Sunday at 8 p.m. So let's see what we can share here.
So if you snooze, you lose.
Pretty much.
Yes. What do I call that thing? The name of wheel or the faces of
The wheel of name. The name
The
of
name
wheel.
of wheels.
The name of Faces Wheel.
The wheel of names.
the wheel of names. Yeah.
So how many entries did you get, Tim?
197.
Holy moly!
Yeah.
That's a good
That's
number.
awesome. So for
there
those
we
of you
go.
who put your name on the list, there is a 1 in 197 chance.
Look at you trying to math on stream.
Yep.
Yeah, I should know better.
So, let's see if
There it is.
there we go.
Oh, we got
So-
some of
so-
us.
So Tim, hold on a second. Jody wants to fire up his DeLorean to go enter Tim's drawing. So give him 2.88 seconds to let him go back in time.
All right.
He's done.
There we go.
All right, go. There
Hey,
we go.
hey, Tim, what does your T-shirt say while it's spinning?
Did you try a factory reset? Oh no. That's the other one. That's the skull and crossbones.
Your current
No,
shirt.
the one you have on now.
Disobey.
Disobey.
disobey. Yeah,
All right.
that's right.
And the winner
Disobey.
is
Blue.
Red,
Ah,
yellow.
purple.
green. Purple.
Orange.
Renee,
Hey, Renee. I know Renee. She's
our
a good
friend Renee from Florida.
wine lady.
Yes,
Very nice.
Nice.
awesome.
Awesome.
Well, we stop sharing here. So, well, awesome. I think this has been a great, fabulous live stream. Mike, you should join us when you can stay longer. But nonetheless, Sebastian, I appreciate you coming on, and by all means, anytime you want to swing by and join the rowdy bunch of the kids table, you're always welcome.
I love it. It's
Yes.
been very fun to spend the evening here.
Mike, next time, all you got to do is just start up the live stream in the club. That'll distract everybody. You can have the whole club join in.
There you go. Just have the whole club behind you.
Yeah.
Do the selfie thing there on
Or
your
get
phone.
one
or
of those
point
mini
back.
projectors and connect it to your phone and stream it up there.
There
We
you
did
go.
have a good turnout. I tweeted out a photo. I counted over 40 people.
That's
There.
a good turnout.
And
Nice.
and then there were those that are we live stream it too. So I'm sure there were some tuned in to it online. But yeah,
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, guys, thank you very much. Tomorrow night, Coffee and Ham Radios. Friday night, I don't know what's going on. We also have the playlist Thursday night. So look for that. Check the social medias to see when those will be starting, and those will roll into the Coffee and Ham Radios. Saturday is Josh's ham radio crash course, and then he does the after chat. So if you have questions about amateur radio and want to talk to some people, that's a good place to get involved in that after his live stream, because it's an open forum if you've got the questions. And then Sunday night, I believe Prep Ham Paul has got a live stream immediately following Jason Ham Radio 2.0's live stream, and somewhere in there, I think Frank has his right before that. So plenty of amateur radio content available out there for people. So,
and for those ham tubers on Saturday night last week, y'all missed out. Josh went from the bottom to the top. So if you're usually at the bottom, you missed it.
that's right. Bill Ham Radio Tectonics didn't know what to do with himself. He wasn't ready to go so early.
Right.
Caught him off guard. But hey, guys, everybody have a great night.
Yeah.
73.
Everybody.
Later.